This is a guide to the new Starter Essentials page of your development record. If you are a new starter at the college, this page will have been added to your record and should be what you focus on for the first 6 months of your role. What you'll see at the top of this page is a table which includes all of the activities and tasks that you must have undertaken in order for your probation period to be completed. Particularly important is the safeguarding training, which is a legal requirement of your role of working in the FE sector. What you would do next to each of these activities is type into the table the date that you completed them, what you learned from the activity, and how you intend to further the learning in the future. So is there anything that you wish to engage in more, or is there anything the college could do more to enable further learning from those elements of your training? A lot of these elements are online. Some of them will actually be completed before you arrive at the college, and indeed before you create your development record. So it's important for you to maintain a record of when you've completed things and what you learned from them as you complete them, so that this record is easier for you to fill out later on. So this includes a breakdown of everything on there, just to give you a reminder of everything that should be taking place within your probationary period. So it's quite useful for you to kind of see the activities that should have taken place, also so that you can speak to your line manager if you feel that something hasn't been met as part of your probationary period. What you'll see underneath here is a review process that will take place within the first 6 months of your role at the college. What this review process will turn into is the main college review process on the staff review page once your first 6 months is completed. So at the top here, either you or your manager can kind of fill these sections out. So employee name, payroll number and job title should be filled out by you. Your department, your line manager, your post start date and your grade should all be known. If you do need to speak to HR, feel free to kind of confirm any of these details with them. The date due for each of your meetings should be inputted for you. If it isn't, please let us know, and HR will kind of check those dates accordingly. What your line manager will then do is write down the date completed once these meetings have taken place. So your initial meeting will check that your new starter essentials journey, which is in the table above, has progressed in an appropriate rate. So that gives a chance for your manager to check on your own progress, but it's also a chance for you to speak to your manager about maybe what the college could have done more, perhaps what their department could have done more, but also if we are doing things well and you think things are progressing at a reasonable rate, then please, it's a chance for you to kind of let your manager know that as well. Your manager will then set dates for anything still outstanding. So these are things that should have been completed by the point that you had your meeting. And if there is anything that you still need to complete, that will be inputted here. You will then set, similar to the main college staff review, some initial objectives and associated timescales. So these targets can be based on those within the Develop Yourself model, and you can write down also the CPD activities the employee should engage in order to achieve the set targets. This should be very much advised by the line manager, particularly if the member of staff is very new to either their teaching role or business support role, in terms of having not done anything similar previously. However, if the employee has far more experience in that kind of role, then it's likely that they'll have an idea of what kind of CPD they want to engage in any case. So that will be the initial meeting to kind of set the initial targets and check on general progress at the start of your role. What you'll then have is a 2-month review, which is slightly more detailed. Your manager will take you through details of your role and kind of rate each one either with improvement required, with satisfactory, good or excellent, and we'll include some comments in these boxes about what has been going well in your role from their perspective, but also what they feel you could improve on. There will be a chance during this review to offer your opinions in terms of where you would rate your own skills as far as these go, just so that professional discussion can take place between the two of you. There is then a box that if there are any areas of performance, conduct or attendance that require improvement, some details are provided by your line manager so that there's a clear sense of the expectations as part of your job role, and so that they can provide some clear guidance about how you might improve. Where concerns have been identified, your line manager will then summarise how these will be addressed during the remaining period of probation to ensure that you get through probation successfully. It's obviously our aim that all staff do get through probation successfully, so your line manager will work with you to ensure that these concerns are addressed. The line manager will then summarise the employee's performance and progress over the period and give some general comments about it. Obviously, because these meetings are a conversation between the two of you, there will be opportunities for you to say where you might have concerns about your department as well. So it might not just be about your own job role from your line manager's perspective, but it can be the other way. So if there are any barriers or concerns that you might have that need to be resolved during your probationary period, this is a point at which you can start to bring them up so that they can begin to be addressed before your probation period is complete. What you then have is a table similar to what you had in your initial meeting, which means that you can review the initial targets that were set. So this is a chance for you to review CPD undertaken, how you think you've progressed on those targets, and it's a great place for you to update your line manager about the professional development that you've been undertaking, which can be quite important in your probationary period, as it is crucially important as you continue in your career. You then set some new targets that are either moving over because they're similar to the ones that you set previously, or are perhaps completely brand new for the 5-month review. And the 5-month review looks very similar all the way through. However, towards the end of it, this is obviously the point at which your line manager can say whether your appointment is confirmed or not. So if it is, then your line manager will give evidence as to why it is confirmed in terms of the great work that you've been doing. If it isn't confirmed, then your line manager will give you some reasons here and also in person as to how maybe concerns have been tried to be addressed over the period and haven't successfully been addressed or dealt with. It may be the case at points that your probationary period is extended, and there is a box here for your line manager to input whether that probationary period will be extended or not. If it is, then your line manager will need to provide reasons and, where appropriate, specify any areas of improvement required and how these will be monitored. Again, so that there's a clear sense of the expectations of your role and of you within your role in terms of your work and what you might need to improve upon. And that is the extent of your new starter record. Once the 5-month review has taken place, your subsequent reviews will all take place within the main college staff review page on your development record. This new starter page will remain within your record for your first year, so that you can always kind of reflect back on the process that took place.